Welcome to the Arkansas DMV Written Test with real questions and answers from the Arkansas DMV. Before we get started, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button so you never miss an update and help support the channel. Now let's dive into all the questions and answers you need to study for your Arkansas test.
If you see orange construction signs and cones on a freeway, you must A. Slow down because the lane ends ahead. B. Be prepared for workers and equipment ahead. C. Change lanes and maintain your current speed. B. Be prepared for workers and equipment ahead. As you enter a work zone, signs and message boards will warn you of workers, slow-moving equipment, and/or closed lanes ahead. You should reduce your speed and be prepared to slow down or stop. When you are merging onto the freeway, you should be driving A. At or near the speed of traffic on the freeway. B. 5 to 10 miles per hour slower than the speed of traffic on the freeway. C. The posted speed limit for freeway traffic. A. At or near the speed of traffic on the freeway. When merging onto a freeway, you should enter at or near the speed of traffic. To see objects in their blind spot when changing lanes, drivers should check A. Only the left outside mirror. B. Over their left or right shoulder. C. Only the inside rearview mirror. B. Over their left or right shoulder. Your vehicle's blind spots are the areas that you cannot see in your mirrors. Look over the appropriate shoulder to check your blind spot when changing lanes. If you approach a flashing red traffic light, you A. Are traveling in the wrong direction. B. Must treat the intersection as if it is controlled by a stop sign. C. May not proceed until it changes to green. B. Must treat the intersection as if it is controlled by a stop sign. Treat a flashing red light the same as a stop sign. Come to a complete stop at the stop line, or, if there is no stop line, prior to the crosswalk and before entering the intersection. Yield to all other traffic and pedestrians. This sign is A. Yield sign. B. School crossing sign. C. Stop sign. A yield sign. A downward-facing triangular sign is always a yield sign. Drivers must be prepared to slow down or stop when approaching a yield sign. Want to ace your DMV test? Go to cheatsheets.com and get your guaranteed cheat sheet. When encountering a pedestrian who is using a white cane or guide dog, A. Allow them the right of way. B. Honk to alert them to your presence. C. Quickly swerve around them. A. Allow them the right of way. Drivers should watch for pedestrians in a marked or unmarked crosswalk when approaching an intersection. Pedestrians carrying a white cane or using a guide dog must be given the absolute right of way. When driving in work zones, you should A. Increase your speed to get through the zone as quickly as possible. B. Reduce your speed and be prepared to stop suddenly. C. Maintain your normal speed the whole way through the zone. B. Reduce your speed and be prepared to stop suddenly. When entering and driving through a work zone, slow down and be prepared to stop. Obey posted speed limits and be alert to conditions around you. Workers could be present. If you plan to pass another vehicle, you should A. Not assume the other driver will make space for you to return to your lane. B. Assume the other driver will let you pass if you use your turn signal. C. Assume the other driver will maintain a constant speed. A. Not assume the other driver will make space for you to return to your lane. Even when you signal, you should not assume that the space you want to occupy is free, or that other drivers will give you the right of way. This sign means A. School crossing. B. School zone. C. Pedestrian crossing. C. Pedestrian crossing. This sign marks the presence of a crosswalk. Be alert to any pedestrians that may be crossing the roadway. If you miss your exit on the freeway, you should not A. Continue on the freeway and find an alternate route to your destination. B. Proceed to the next exit, leave the freeway, and return to your proper exit. C. Back up on the road or shoulder. C. Back up on the road or shoulder. If you miss your turn or exit, do not back up in the travel lane or on the shoulder. Continue to drive to the next exit or crossroad. Drivers do not expect a vehicle to be backing toward them on the roadway, and doing so will likely cause a collision. If a vehicle is equipped with airbags, A. Seatbelts should still be worn. B. Seatbelts do not need to be worn. C. Seatbelts should be worn behind the back. A. Seatbelts should still be worn. Airbags are important safety devices that provide protection in crashes. For best protection, a vehicle's lap and shoulder belts should be used in combination with airbags. You want to park downhill on a two-way road and there is no curb. Which way do you turn your front wheels? A. Straight ahead. B. Right, toward the side of the road. C. Left, toward the center of the road. B. Right, toward the side of the road. When parking facing downhill on a road with or without a curb, or when facing uphill on a road without a curb, turn your front wheels toward the edge of the road so your vehicle will roll away from traffic if the brakes fail. However, when parking uphill on a road with a curb, turn your wheels toward the center of the road so the vehicle will roll into the curb if the brakes fail. Before you change lanes, you should check your mirrors and A. Never look over your right shoulder. B. Always slow down in your traffic lane. C. Glance over your shoulder. C. Glance over your shoulder. Before changing lanes, it is very important to check behind you. You should look over your shoulder to ensure that you are not getting in the way of vehicles in the lane you want to enter. Before changing lanes, you should also ensure that no drivers are attempting to drive into the same spot from a different lane. When should drivers obey posted speed limits? A. At all times. B. Only when police officers are present. C. Only in heavy traffic. A. At all times. Always obey posted speed limits. Check your speedometer often to ensure you are driving within the legal speed limit. A pedestrian starts to cross the street after the don't walk signal begins to flash. The pedestrian is in the middle of the street when your signal light changes to green. You should A. Proceed if you have the right of way. B. Proceed if the pedestrian is not in your lane. C. Wait until the pedestrian crosses the street before proceeding. C. Wait until the pedestrian crosses the street before proceeding. At a green light, you must give the right of way to any vehicle, bicyclist, or pedestrian in the intersection. If a pedestrian begins crossing the street after the traffic signal light starts flashing, wait until they have crossed the street before proceeding. If you text while you're behind the wheel, you're fill in the blank. Times more likely to be involved in a crash than a non-distracted driver. A. 5, B. 10, C. 20, C. 20. If you text while you're behind the wheel, you're 20 times more likely to be involved in a crash than a non-distracted driver. Writing or reading a text message takes your eyes off the road for an average of 4.6 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's like driving the length of a football field blindfolded. When you see the sign, you, A. are approaching a railroad crossing and should prepare to stop. B. will always stop at the upcoming railroad crossing. C. should stop and wait for a signal before crossing the railroad tracks. A. are approaching a railroad crossing and should prepare to stop. This sign indicates that you are approaching a railroad crossing. You must look, listen, slow down, and prepare to stop. Wait for any trains to pass before you proceed. This sign is used to warn drivers that A. the right lane is ending and traffic should merge left. B. the road curves ahead. C. there are upcoming intersections. A. the right lane is ending and traffic should merge left. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. They alert you to conditions that are immediately ahead. This sign warns drivers that the number of lanes is reduced ahead and that traffic should merge left. In Arkansas, wearing a seatbelt in the front passenger seat of a vehicle is A. optional, B. suggested, C. required by law. C. required by law. In Arkansas, it is illegal to drive or be a front seat passenger without wearing a seatbelt. Wear a seatbelt every time you are in a moving vehicle, not just during long trips or on high-speed highways. When driving in fog, you should A. Slow down and use your low-beam headlights. B. Slow down and use your high-beam headlights. C. Turn your lights on and off to warn other drivers. A. Slow down and use your low-beam headlights. When driving in fog, you should slow down and use your low-beam headlights. If the fog is so bad that you cannot see, pull off the road and wait for the fog to clear. You should not start across an intersection if you know you will block the intersection when the light turns red. A. Under any circumstances. B. Unless you entered the intersection on a yellow light. C. Unless you entered the intersection on a green light. A. Under any circumstances. Even if the signal is green, you must not enter an intersection unless you can get completely across before the light turns red. If you block the intersection, you can be cited. Distracted driving is A. Anything that causes evasive action while driving. B. Anything that takes your attention away from driving. C. Anything that causes you to pay more attention to driving. B. Anything that takes your attention away from driving. The term distracted driving refers to driving while anything takes your eyes, hands, or mind away from the task at hand. Distracted driving is the most common contributing factor to reported traffic collisions. Distractions of any sort cause drivers to miss key visual and audio cues needed to avoid a crash. This sign means A. All traffic must turn left. B. No left turn. C. No U-turn. B. No left turn. This sign means drivers cannot make a left turn. It is unsafe and unlawful to make a left turn at an intersection where this sign is posted. A steady red arrow displayed on a traffic light means A. Drivers cannot turn in the indicated direction. B. Drivers may turn in the indicated direction after coming to a complete stop. C. Drivers may turn in the indicated direction. A. Drivers cannot turn in the indicated direction. If a traffic signal is displaying a steady red arrow, traffic in the indicated lane may not proceed in the direction shown by the arrow. Drivers must come to a full stop and wait for a green signal to proceed. When stopped at a red traffic light with a green arrow, you may proceed in the direction of the arrow if you A. First come to a complete stop. B. Wait until the light changes. C. Are in the proper lane and the intersection is clear. C. Are in the proper lane and the intersection is clear. You may proceed in the direction that a green arrow signal is pointing if you are in the proper lane, regardless of any other signals that are displayed. Before turning, you must yield the right-of-way to pedestrians and vehicles already within the intersection.